This is what we're getting pummeled with tonight. Hailstorm, rain, thunder. So I am just going to do a simple leftover ribeye dinner because we had a ribeye leftover. And here's what I got going on. I got some onions and butter sauteing together. I like to use cast iron. We're going to put some garlic in it here in a little bit. We like garlic in this house. As soon as the onions sweat down a little bit, we're going to add the mushrooms. But here's the key to this, and this is important, because both me and my husband, we like our ribeye medium rare, okay? So I got the ribeye here, but here's what I've done. I cut up the ribeye, and I am going to leave a little bit of fat on the ribeye so that when it is sauteing down, it's going to keep it juicy. But I'm not putting this in until the very last. Okay, so this is the last thing that goes in. We're going to make sure that the onions and the butter get all happy. I'm going to salt them a little bit so that it'll be a bit quicker. And then we're going to go from there. My lighting is just not good tonight. So at this point, our onions have sweat down. They've gotten happy with the butter. And so I put the mushrooms in. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of salt to help sweat down the mushrooms. We're going to add the garlic. Yeah. All right, we got everything in the pan getting all happy together. That's what it looks like. Cast iron's going to bring up the heat. I have it on a medium heat. Smells amazing. Cast iron's going to bring up the heat, and it's going to sit there, and it's going to put a nice little crust on everything. Fun fact. And here's something that a lot of people might not know. If you use an oil, an olive oil, avocado oil, or something like that, your vegetables or your meat is going to sit there and kind of saute in it for a while. If you use butter, and I only use butter, well, I use avocado and oil too, but most of my base cooking I use butter because there is the fat in it, and when you add the fat, it is going to make everything crispy, and then the flavor off the butter is going to add to everything in the pan. I also like using cast iron because cast iron is just going to bring up that heat, and it's going to keep it consistent throughout the pan. Now I just kind of let it sit in the pan and cook for a while, because if you keep moving it around, it is not going to get nice in kind of a nice crispy crust on it. Same thing with hash browns. If you mess with hash browns all the time, you're not going to get them how you want them. And so this is really nice. I've moved it around, and you can tell all the mushrooms and the onions have this nice little crust on them. Now, if you want to keep cooking them and you want to add more butter to it, more fat, you can continue that and continue to crust them up. I think we're going to do that actually. Might Paula Deen here with the butter. Now, we're going to add the ribeye. The ribeye is cold out of the fridge, and I have cut it up and let it come up to room temperature. It still is a little bit cold, but remember, I don't want to cook this to where it gets beyond medium. Okay, so we're going to get it in the pan here, and we're going to heat it, but we're not trying to cook the steak any further than a medium temp. So at this point, I am going to turn off the heat on my cast iron pan because the heat is still in the pan. It holds the heat. And so we don't need anything else heating it. This is done. Everything, the meat is heated up. Oh, the meat is heated up. And so what I'm going to do now, see how everything got nice and crispy? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull it off the heat. And that's it. I took a steak and I added stuff that I had, which was onions, garlic, and mushrooms to the steak and cooked it well. We're going to put some white corn with it that I have buttered, and we're going to call it good. Thank you.